You know, in life there are times where things are good and times where things are bad. And I'm not even talking about just individual instances in your own life, because of course it's true there, but I'm more so talking about in the grand scheme of things from life to life. In every individual person's life, there can be good events that cause their life to be good as a whole, and there could be bad events that cause people's lives to be bad as a whole. And we have this image in humanity, especially in our American culture, that we are what we make of ourselves. That's what the American dream is about. It's about working hard to build success for yourself and becoming the person that you want to be. And obviously that's a very promising image. And that's obviously more true in America than it is in other countries like Zimbabwe or Mongolia or Venezuela. You know, there's so much opportunity here. But it's not perfect, and that's the thing that I don't think people realize. The idea of the American dream is very powerful, and in some ways it is true, but it's not perfect. It doesn't apply to everyone and everything. But a lot of people seem to assume that it is. Like, if you work hard, you will get successful, or at least it's extremely likely that you will get successful. The simple fact is it isn't. There's a certain amount of our futures that's dependent upon how much we put in, and how creative we are with what we do, because a large amount of it is our skills as well. Like whether you're intelligent enough, you're able to rationalize in situations, you're good at socializing with people and building new connections. A lot of it is opportunity though. Like what just happens to open up for you, whether you know the right people, whether you're in the right place at the right time. And then a fair amount of it is just crappy luck. Like let's say that you work really hard and you become the CEO of some new fancy company. That's good on you, definitely. You did work for that. I'm not saying that you were lazy and it was just given to you randomly, but isn't it true that there are tons of other people out there who are as qualified and as capable as doing it, but they weren't in the right place at the right time? Or maybe they just didn't naturally have the right skill that would get them in that position, whatever landed them in the right position. There's so many complicated factors in life in what builds success. That's why there's no perfect recipe for it. There's generic examples of what you can do to be successful in any certain area, but there's no perfect solution to that. But the thing is, people often take offense to this if they have any success in their life at all. Like anybody who's not like on the streets, in the gutter, sleeping, you know, with no prospects at all. Anybody says that if they have something, they worked for it themselves. But I don't understand why we have like a false dichotomy here. It's like people believe that if you say that what we do isn't just our work, there's so many other things involved, like everything that happens in your past influences your future. If you suggest that, it's like you're suggesting that effort doesn't matter at all. Like they didn't work hard, they didn't do anything. And I don't understand this. It's like how Oprah Winfrey is probably the biggest example of the American dream we have alive today, because she really was poor. She really had basically nothing as a child, and she did work. She became rich and famous and successful, and now millions of people across America and across the world have the great amount of utmost respect for her, and I do too. But when she says that what she does is basically built from her own hard work, it's like delegitimizing the millions of people across the world who work hard and work their ass off just to get by barely. I mean, when you walk by and you see some homeless man in the gutter, just sleeping, and he looks terrible, how do you know that he didn't take everything in his power to get in that position as opposed to having killed himself? You don't know what the person's life is like. And to say that maybe they did work hard but they didn't get where they wanted to because luck just wasn't on their side, that doesn't delegitimize you. You don't have to have everything in order to say that everybody else has nothing because they're worthless. A fair amount of it is chance. A fair amount of it is the opportunity that you get. Like, I'm not necessarily too hardworking in school, yet I'm in college. I have so many opportunities in my life. My future is basically opening up, and I realize that a lot of that is not necessarily just my work. Some of it are my innate skills. I have skill sets that will help me through college and help me get the type of job I want. And I came from a family that had a nice enough background that helped me get where I am. And that's just what I think people need to understand. Another perfect example of this is suicide, because a while back ago I made a video on the topic of suicide, which I'll link also so you can watch that, but it was basically saying that if someone kills themselves, is it really their fault that they committed suicide? And I said no, because there's so many factors involved. One big one is what people they encountered, and I've got some crap for that, because some people actually said that they were suicidal at one point, but they got better because they worked hard and they were really strong. And I'm not saying you're not strong for having lived, but the people who did kill themselves, are you essentially saying that they're weak and it was their own fault that they died? No, maybe they were strong too. Or maybe you were in a situation that wasn't as bad as theirs, and you did have strength, but didn't require as much strength as they would have had to have. Or maybe they did have as much strength as you, but their situation was worse. It was more difficult to get through. I guess what I'm saying is there's so many factors to life that if you say that everything is built down to one key concept, and that's just the amount of effort that you put in, I feel like you're oversimplifying things. And oversimplifying things makes it really easy to vilify people. And to vilify people, it makes it easy to ignore the problems that others face in life. So I just think that's a very, very dangerous idea.